All right. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. You are here with the Connors. So I hope you're as excited as we are to talk everything Married at First Sight, season 13, episode 9. Honey, tell them a little bit about where you are.
Yeah, so we're back out on the road doing the third leg of the Tiger Blood tour. I'm out here with Otherwise in Katy, Texas. About an hour and a half or so outside of Austin, Texas, because Katy's kind of small. So people probably like, where the hell is Katy, Texas at? So yeah, that's where we at. We got a show tonight.
All right. So I hope you have a good show. But
Okay.
before then, we're going to try to squeeze in and what we got an hour.
Yeah, we good.
Talk a little bit about Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
So let's jump on into the beginning. So it kind of basically opens up with Brett and Ryan
Yeah.
playing Jenga, which is super cute. And
Yeah.
she's like giving him all these affirmations after each little thing.
Which I thought was amazing.
But
I thought it was adorable.
Why did I get secondhand embarrassment?
Because you knew that she wasn't getting it back. And you were on the other side of the third wall or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Because in I guess first of all, something that I would probably never do, but I love that she is forward and understands how important, like, affirming your spouses and everything.
Well, yeah, especially when you don't know them, right? So the big issue here is a lot of the elephant in the room for every couple on this show is like, I don't know how they feel. If I say this, how will they react? It's a lot of like question marks.
Yeah.
And so a big part of getting closer and building intimacy is conversation and like learning like, oh, they like this about me. They like that about me. You know what I mean? Because that's something that you learn over time while you're dating, but they obviously don't have that. So I think that's why I liked what she did. Because I think it was like a cool little cute way to kind of create more of that.
And more conversation, even like to your point.
Especially for them, because they don't talk.
But I think they do. Okay, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. I'm sorry, y'all. My eyelash is like not happy with me right now. But I guess what I thought was really good, even though I thought that was good that she was like engaging him in that way, I thought it was good that he was honest. And that is what it looks like. When we're watching these shows and we go back to previous seasons and you can tell it's something that's not clicking for somebody and they're not saying it. They're just making it like, oh, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. To be specific about the fact that I'm not sure, that's what grown-ups do. Like, look, I don't want to fill your head with words and I'm not sure I believe that. You know what I mean? And I thought that was really dope that he was conscious of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that says a lot about him. But I really want her to give him space to kind of come to her. Like, I don't want her to be driving it.
Okay, so a little bit of devil's angel's advocate or however you want to call
it. Yeah.
Here is, I'm surprised to hear that that's your take on how he did it. And I think you're operating with some bias here because he's operating in favoritism for you. Because in the past, in this same situation, you have said, just tell him I love you. Like, it's whatever. Like, just say it. You've said that in the past and you've crucified people who have done this in the past. So that's why I'm surprised to hear you say that. I do like
him. I don't know what it is. Something about him I think is very... You want to know what it is for me. You know how people are just awkward and you can see them being awkward. I like watching this show because he's not putting on pretense. And in the same way that Mirla gets on my nerves, she's not putting on pretense. Right. And I genuinely feel like that's really who she is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that authenticity I appreciate. I think what it is for me is
because I've definitely said I've made
but the maybe point I'm coming around to you.
Yeah,
maybe
I hope that you are, because I'm like, I said that maybe a season ago.
You did.
Was like,
you did.
Nah, just say it.
No. I think I'm coming around. I think I get it. But I think the reason why it makes more sense to me is that he was honest. These people won't say anything. So I'm just like, they're not giving you nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't know if the person is ugly, even on our side of it as an audience. You don't know if they ugly, they tall, they fat. We don't know how you feel about them. So for him to be honest about the fact, which I think that the entire cast has been really honest this time around.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
It's getting more and more transparent. You know, it's a couple people in there who putting on airs, or Mila who don't say but 2 words in every segment. But it's like, you know, I think that there's something to being open to growth and open to love. And that's what I think you're getting at. Like, I do believe that. And I think she said that when they were at Jose's house. And you know, and I think that it was like really like you have to put it forth an effort. It's not just going to happen.
Do these things. You got to be actively trying to grow in love and in like with this person. Yeah.
Right. Because if it was somebody you chose, if you were so good at choosing people, you would be married already. And I mean that respectfully. You know what I mean? So it's like, if that was the case, you would know. But for him to say he don't even know if he's ever been in love or he thinks.
Yeah.
That to me, I don't want to say it's a red flag. But
it's not a red flag. Why do people say that? But I don't think that's. I don't understand why.
He's 35 years old. At 35 years old, you don't know if you ever love somebody.
Well, I think that to say. No, I'm not going to backpedal. I want to choose my words correctly. To say I don't know that I've been in love is to say that you have not been in love. So I think people are afraid to give that answer. If you're saying you don't know, it's like because
that's a pink flag.
It's like no answer is an answer, right?
1,000%.
But I don't think that you not having been in love by a certain point is a red flag, because life doesn't work like that. You can't just go purchase love. You can't just say, you know what, it's time for me to go get it. You know what I mean? And so I don't like when people say things like that, because it's this love life thing is very fluid, and it's not guaranteed, right? It's not, everybody doesn't find that person. Everybody doesn't fall in love. Everybody doesn't, you know what I mean?
But
some people,
that's not what I'm getting at. What I think I'm referring to is it's a pink flag, not a red flag. It's a pink flag because if you've never experienced that, what's clear is that you are also a novice to commitment and being able to really engulf yourself in another human being.
But I don't think that those two things are synonymous with each other. Like it doesn't, because some people haven't experienced love, and it's not because they haven't been committed or they haven't wanted to find it. They just haven't found that person that they connect with on that level. Some people,
and I think that's true too. But I'm saying, like, I think it's a pink flag. I think if you've never been in love, it's hard for you to say what, because I don't want to say it's a red flag. It's like a little bit in the middle. You know what I mean? Like a yellow flag. But I think that there's something to you having the ability to discern whether or not this person, okay, I can even see it going somewhere. Because his particular issue is that he said, I've waited sometimes too long to identify whether or not I love this person.
He wasn't,
and it was to my detriment. And he wasn't in love. But that's my point, right? That's what makes it a pink flag. Because if you're one of those people who still on the pot and you ain't getting everything out and keeping it moving.
Yes. I agree with this.
Flag.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what I'm speaking to. I'm not saying that, you gotta fall in love with everybody.
Yeah, the aspect of him saying like that was a red flag to me, and I've heard him say it, and I was thinking that in a moment but it was the aspect of him saying, I just kind of been in relationships, and
that's not a red flag.
Just I just kind of been in relationships, and I just like was just there, like I was just stringing them along, and to his point, but that's what he was saying. He was like, I'm not sure where I was at, but you too. To my point, you knew that you weren't in love, and you just didn't want to say it, or for some reason, people are like real iffy and weird about like just saying like I wasn't in love in that situation, and I was with that person for way too long. Or I was stringing them along, or you know what I'm saying? And maybe this is not
that would mean you would have to take responsibility. That's what I was just about to say. For wasting people's time, and that is a pink flag.
It is. That's a red flag. That's a red flag.
That's what I'm trying to get at. And we can also mosey that on over to Jose and Rachel. Jose is getting on my goddamn nerves.
Yeah, he's been getting on my nerves though.
But no, it's getting real deep and itchy for me. When I get secondhand embarrassment, y'all, I want to leave. I need to get in my car. I got to go for a drive. Yeah. I cannot be in the same vicinity as whatever is providing me with that secondhand embarrassment.
Yes.
And Jose, to me, Jose is giving Jose is giving he's on the spectrum, and he's trying to prove that he is supposed to be married to a woman. And it's because everything he says is weird. She talks about he needs him to listen more, and he says, well, I'm a guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I was talking about. That's what I meant. Like, he would say stuff last I think it was last episode that we talked about it, where it was just like very much over correcting, like very much trying to be super overzealous with the macho thing.
Exactly.
And it was like, it was everything she could have said. Why didn't you put the top back on the ketchup? And he would say something like, well, dudes just really don't do that. And it's like, huh? No, like that doesn't make sense.
I guess what it is for me is that one, that's a cop out. I don't even like the way he been talking to her recently. He really does not have he's not very pliable. And I genuinely believe he really wanted to be married. Like, don't get me wrong, on a spectrum or not. I believe that he wanted to be married. And I do think that he thought he was the perfect partner and he wouldn't have to acquiesce.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wouldn't have to, maybe contort himself a little bit to be a better partner. And that's what bothers me to my core. Because she's open. And she is open. Mm-hmm. She's open. And it's like, but to hear the way he speaks to her, but I'm proud of her because she stands her ground, but she's never like nasty. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's good to see. But she's like, no, like, you have to listen. It's not about what I need to tell you to do. You have to open your ears, like, you know what I mean? And internalize and shut your goddamn mouth. You don't know all things.
We talked about that last week too, with him kind of thinking that he was going to walk into a turnkey, like one size fits all type of relationship where like he just had this thing mapped out and there was no room for an actual human. You know what I'm saying? For her to come and have thoughts and feelings and want things and want him to do things. And then he kind of, I don't like that when she's talking to him about these things, he kind of shrugs it off like with this comedic type of attitude. Like it's just like
as if she's crazy.
Yeah, as if she's crazy or as if he's not taking her seriously, which feels disrespectful to me.
It feels disrespectful completely to me. And I also think that like I would want to know. It is weird because I don't even want to ask him this question because I know it would go on and on. Like, what do you really want?
Any question is going to go on and on with Jose.
Any question. These men are really talkative. All of them except for Ryan. A lot of them got a lot of words. You know what I mean? But I think it's really fascinating how he has so many needs and wants, but he was with a woman for 4 years, wasted her time for 4 years, and he didn't want to be with her because he knew he couldn't reconcile that she had children. And that bothered me because you are upset with her because she had an infidelity and you are non-committal.
Yeah, I mean, the whack part about it was, like we just talked about, you knew that you wasn't down and you knew you wasn't into it and you just stayed in it. That was it.
But what I don't like about this more is that the reason why he bothers me is that one, he's judgmental. And that is very fascinating to me because look at you. But people get to that space in life where they think that, oh, I'm this, I got that. So now I could tell other people what to do, or I can be an authority on all things. And even the way when she told him about her infidelity, that bothered me because it's like, he was like, oh, Neil, I'm dating a cheater. Which
he's very judgmental with her, with everything, whether she talks about that or her finance or whatever. He's always side-eyeing her. And it's like, dude, like you're dealing with another person who doesn't do life exactly how you do. And it seems like every time something comes along that's different or unique about her or whatever, her, you know, showing a contrast between who they are as people, it's like a downgrade to him. He's like, oh, that's what you do? Because I don't do that.
You want to know why? Me and Fatima had this conversation. I've said this before. There is a large population of men who sleep with women, love sleeping with women, but do not actually value women. And I don't know.
We don't know that he actually even likes women. We just being honest.
And I mean, and I think it's something to that. I think that he does not value her input, which is why he always planning around her and not taking her into account. I think that's why he was turn around and say something like, well, how I know you're not going to cheat on me? Like, how I know if you go out with your girlfriend, you're not going to cheat on me? You keep doing this shit, I will cheat on you. Because I do think, and this is an arguable point. I want to get into it. I really get annoyed with people who castigate people who have cheated. And that's probably because I've cheated. And that's and that's me being real. And I feel like I would do it again. I don't feel like I've ever cheated and felt like I would take only in one instance and one human being that I felt like I shouldn't have did that to that person. But in all reality, people are selfish, and we got to stop pretending like everybody's so fucking above it. People cheat. Sometimes you'll cheat on a person, and that's what life is. Mm-hmm. Get over it. And it's harmful and it's hurtful and all those things. All of the things. But the reality is that doesn't, those moments, those mistakes that's not the full scope of who one human being is. And what you can get with another person and not even thinking about cheating.
So that's the point that I want to touch on. And it's funny because they talked about this in Unfiltered. And this is my big gripe with people in different relationships, drudging up old stuff as a whole in a new relationship. Because like you just said, what somebody did in another relationship with a whole nother person, sometimes in a whole nother lifetime, has no reflection on your relationship or whatever that you have with that person. And too often, I don't like when people get too deep into the weeds of people's past relationships, because too often that's what happens. The other person, and it's very common, people get so wrapped up in what you told them you did with another person, and they internalize it. Part of it is just ego and being selfish because it ain't about you. But they internalize it and they ask themselves, well, is he going to cheat on me? I don't like how he did that with her. Is he going to do that to me? And it's like, and it's fun. And I think it was Johnny who said it in Unfiltered, was like, yo, you got to, in having these talks where you're getting to know each other, because I think a decent amount of sharing is obviously great in order for you to get to know the person that you're with. I'm with that. But I think to a certain extent, because I think in more cases than not, I've seen it do more harm than good, where some people are perseverating on what you said that you did in your past with somebody else. And now they're constantly side-eyeing you, or they're constantly looking over their shoulder thinking, is he going to do that to me? And you could be in a whole nother different space mentally. Your set of problems in your relationship is going to be completely different from the set of problems that you had with another person. But if you tell them I had this problem with her, they might be thinking, oh, was he going to have that problem with me? And some people can't mentally get past it. And it's annoying to me.
And that's exactly what's happening here. He can't mentally get past it. And the reality is, he says something like, once a cheater, always a cheater. I think that sounds bad, but I think what that means is that you are with somebody who is selfish enough to choose themselves. They like to choose them to be like, if it's serving me or not serving me, hell, I might do something that, you know what I mean, is out of line or whatever the case may be. I think it's something to that. I think it's, and I don't want to say that she would cheat on him or whatever the case may be, but
yeah, because I don't want to put that on her too, because again, it's a different relationship, right?
And you ain't even giving it enough space to grow. Like, let your shit grow.
That's what I'm saying, because the conflicts that I've had in past relationship with other women are completely different from conflicts that I've had in my relationship now with the woman that I'm with, right? And I think it would be completely unfair to me for me to tell somebody about something that happened with somebody else and then project that on my relationship now when I'm in a completely different space. And that issue is probably the furthest thing from things that I'm dealing with now. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, it could just be a personal thing. There's personal things that I had to work through within myself that I, at this point in my life, don't have any problems with. I don't even think about it anymore, right? But that personal thing, that whatever that personal hurdle is that I was dealing with 10 years ago, it could have affected my relationship 10 years ago in ways that it doesn't affect my relationship now. So I don't even want to put that on them to say that it's a thing about them feeling like they chose them, and like it can be a completely different situation where you might be having conflicts, but you never think about cheating on them because that's not where y'all are in your relationship. And that's not, you might have a different level of respect for the person that you with now that will cause you to never even think about that. You know what I mean?
However, if she did cheat on that mother jumper, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
Who, Jose?
Yes, he is annoying. He is annoying.
Yeah, he is.
He is annoying, and he make me want to cheat. Not like that, but like, damn, you was annoying.
He's annoying. But I said I think he got a small man complex.
It's not even up for debate. He invites everybody to his house, which I thought was nice, but really it was a flex. And I just really was like over that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
he lives to flex and say these things and talk about himself and hear himself talk.
So Mirla and Rachel have a conversation, and I really like Rachel because I think she's trying to help Mirla along, and Mirla tells her about the ring that Gil got her so she could work out and everything. And she didn't see that wasn't her type of romance. And it's like, but Rachel was right to say that is romantic. He heard you say something and that's an act of service.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like are these not the things you want? And I recognize she wants them to look like she wants the Cartier ring and everything like that. It's just, I really want to know why Mirla did this. I really want to know.
I think Mirla needed that. I don't know. I think it's something to having a friend in a relationship, like married couples talking to other married couples. And sometimes you need somebody to say, yo, like, wake up. Like, they were trying to do X, Y, and Z. This is them. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a good moment to see Rachel do that, because that's a real life thing that we all go through, where sometimes you got to talk to somebody else and they say, bro, this is what she was trying to do. This is what you wanted. You know what I mean? It's because sometimes you ask for stuff and it shows up in a different package. You know what I mean? And sometimes it take another person to say, like, wake up, bro.
Right.
You know? So
is this what you wanted or no?
Right. So I thought that was a good moment to see. I think Mirla is struggling because this is a foreign space for her. Like, I don't know that she's ever been in a real relationship where she's had somebody, especially like Gil, who is trying to do different things. And maybe it was just easier because sometimes you see what you want to see in the people that you pick. So maybe she, it's been a different dynamic because she was picking these people in the past or whatever. But like Gil actually trying to show up for her in certain ways, the foot rub, the ring thing, like he's trying to do these things.
The foot rub rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, I know it was awkward, but it was effort. It was an effort thing on his part to try to create some type of physical touch in a way that was palatable to her, because she doesn't want to kiss and all that stuff. So that was an effort thing that just went it just went the wrong way. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, and
I don't even know if it was him that made it weird. He made it a little bit weird by saying like, "Oh, my hands is magic" and all that weird shit. But I did think that, like, I just feel like she pays him so much dust. He got to be ashy. Okay, like he is fucking Ashy Larry out here messing around with her ass. Like, I don't understand how dusty he could be. Like, she is like literally like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Why you do that? I don't like that. And it's like, how can you get anywhere? And I think he wants it to work.
He does. I think that was effort on his part.
I think he wants it absolutely was. But I feel like I don't feel like he gets any effort in return. And I think that's my issue.
I think he gets it. Like I thought the chocolate chip cookie thing was like her little way to do her effort thing. With
What,
him.
the keto thing or the first?
No.
Okay.
When she brought him the plate or whatever, I thought that was cute.
Okay.
But the other thing was, she said in Unfiltered that, to give a little context behind the whole foot rub thing, she said, because the girl asked her, like, what was it for you that like was just not the vibe? She said, for one, it wasn't the vibe. Like, it was kind of way out of left field. It wasn't there was no mood. You know how sometimes you tell me, like, ease me into it. It being casual things. Nothing. Okay. So okay, y'all, because this could have been. Okay. So it was kind of random. Like she was saying, like it was kind of random. They was just sitting talking about, pizza or something, and then he hit her with that, and she said it wasn't really no. She said for her, she would have liked it more. It was more of a mood setting. She was like, maybe let's go get some champagne or whatever. But she said, let's sit and talk and then go into that or something like that. She said it was very abrupt. It was very random. And so hearing that made me kind of get even more how it was like.
And I felt that way. Like, to be clear, when I saw it, it felt random to me. Like, it was like, give me your foot. I'm going to give you a foot rub. And it was like, whoa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was really odd. Like, it didn't feel good to me. But I do. And so I'm not even going to give her no smoke on that, because honestly, if I want to be touched, if I'm not kissing you in the mouth, why would you think you could be? I don't like, why are you touching me?
And I think they suffer from the same thing that like Johnny and Bao suffer from, and I think they need a little bit more of that expert love, like we was talking about a couple of weeks ago, where they're struggling with trying to create these moments. They're missing each other. They're going past each other, and they're struggling with trying to create these moments that can be a conduit into some intimate moments that could really like get them into a place where they're much more comfortable with each other, and they're having these little bright spots of intimacy, similar to Bao and Johnny, while they had the little exercise, and then the exercise led into some other things. And I think that like they need a specific prescription written from the experts for Mirla and Gil to say, go home and do this.
I agree 1,000%. Because they're not going to do it on their own.
No, and they're missing each other trying it on their own.
And I think that, honey, is it 1,000%. They're missing each other, because I don't. Sometimes I see it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, y'all got something going on here, and sometimes I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? Like, why are y'all saying these things? What are y'all talking about? Everything like that. So it's like, I definitely feel like they are missing each other, but I'm getting, Mirla is not giving anything to anybody. I mean, she not giving nothing to production. She on here. Am I lying, Joe? First of all, Fatima said every time she in the scene, she in sweatpants. How's she so fabulous? I was like, Lord Jesus. She said she is sweatpants all the time. She been in the same outfit. I said, girl, let her tell it. But my thing is like, I'm trying to figure out, I don't feel like she wants to be here. And I feel like, but I do feel like she's a Gemini, okay? And he's a Taurus. So one, I think he has to be a little bit softer with her, because he could be a real curt. You know what I mean?
Just like the foot rap, real like abrupt, like boom, give me a foot.
Really abrupt. And I don't think I think he listens, but I don't think he's really trying to soak her in. I think he's trying to get all that physical touch, physical this, the way he wants it. But I don't think he's really trying to bring her in, because she's a Gemini, and Geminis are romantics at heart. So she wants to be in love. Deep down, she wants it bad. You know what I mean? I think she's not expressing it though.
I think there was some good insight this week, especially with a lot of the things that happened on Unfiltered, because that was something that they talked about on Unfiltered too, where she was basically saying like he's going off of the sound bites that we're going off of, and there must be a communication thing or a lack of listening thing, right? Because like take for example the brunch thing. He heard like, I want you to be my brunch husband. And in his mind, he received that as, I just want a partner to go to brunch with. And what she elaborated on Unfiltered was basically, she was saying that I am more of an experienced person. So I want to experience these things with you. She also gave some insight into their everyday life. And she's like, we're at home and I cook almost every night. So weekends I want to go out sometime, go out with my husband. And so she was like, I was saying like, if I'm cooking all week every week, I want to be able, I don't think that me asking my husband to come to brunch with me on a Sunday by to ask, which I understand, you know what I'm saying? Because my woman
I agree completely.
You know what I'm saying? Think that. And I think he didn't take that as, that's not how he received it. He took it, I just want man candy on my arm. No, I want to experience. I want to have these experiences with you.
And this is the issue with Mirla. First of all, I saw 5 minutes of Unfiltered before we got on here. 5 minutes. She talked more in those 5 minutes than the last 9 episodes that I watched.
I think that's production.
It's what she's given you. They can only put up there what you give them. I don't think she gives them anything during production.
I think it's two things can be true. Got it in there. I think that it can be some of that, but I think that it can also be that they're putting in the narrative, right? The narrative. This is their friction. Their friction is this, right? She wants to live this lavish lifestyle, and he doesn't. That's not his vibe, and that's the friction.
I'm not saying that, babe.
I'm almost certain that they had that conversation at some point where she was like, "This is what I mean, Gil. I want to go out with you. I want to experience it." Because she said it in a way that I'm like, I get that.
In the 5 minutes that I watched it, she was very clear, and I think she is spot on. I think that first of all, we just met. This is the issue I have with Gil and that broke ass spirit. Okay, why do y'all think that you're supposed to come into a woman's life and you're supposed to immediately, she's supposed to be cooking for y'all, cleaning for y'all? Y'all motherfuckers don't even want to get married. Y'all don't even want to do anything to resemble a husband. Y'all don't want to pay for nothing. Y'all don't want to do nothing. Everybody want to be the boss, but don't nobody want to pay the cost. And it's just really fascinating to me. And my thing is, you just met this woman. You should be dating her every goddamn night. Right. Every night. She shouldn't have to cook a motherfucking thing unless she wants to. Why? Right. Because I don't know you. And we are still in the... But what I'm getting at is that, like, you can't expect nothing from her and you don't even give her nothing. Because I'm going to be honest, and this might sound bad, but if he had wined and dined her from day one, Joe, he'd have been kissed in the mouth already.
And I think that's what she was saying on a very small scale about the foot rub thing. It was like, I would have been into it if we wouldn't have had some champagne, but she's like, he doesn't drink. And so they're constantly missing each other. That's why I think they need some weird, that's to your point that you were saying like the other week, like they need some special expert love and y'all need to jump in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all watching somewhere from a back room, like Johnny was saying, so y'all need to jump in there.
Oh, Johnny said that?
Yeah, he said it on Unfiltered.
So, okay, let's talk about Bao and Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny first of all, this whole season is like a case study on mental health. If we aren't seeing real, not mental health issues, but just mental health ailments unfold in front of us, Johnny is suffering from something, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's hyper anxiety, depression. I don't want to put it on him. I'm not a doctor, but you know, I'm a kitchen therapist, y'all. All my friends know I'm a kitchen therapist, and I think it's something going on with him because the way Bao communicates is very clear, and he's so excitable about nothing.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that there may be something there, like you were saying, maybe some extra anxiety, maybe some filming. You know, there's been an extra layer on people. We found out later on the show where people get nervous with the cameras and the film, and it's
Yeah, that's
hiding
true.
emotions and stuff like that. They get uncomfortable talking about certain stuff in front of cameras or with with multiple people in the room. They're having a one-on-one conversation, and you think that it's them, Johnny Bao, and the cameraman, and it's really Johnny Bao, the cameraman, the production assistant, the lighting guy, and so
Right.
they're more nervous than we see. So I
That's
think
true.
it could be some of all of that.
But I did like that they had the moment where they got to talk about being in love and what does falling in love look like, and I really think that they'll fall in love with one another if Johnny can get out of his own way. But can we talk about something weird though? So obviously they consummate their marriage. First of
What?
all, why was it weird to me that it felt like he couldn't wait to let the world know that they consummated the marriage? Was it me?
Oh yeah, and I think he was giddy about it, and I think that I thought it was cool to see Johnny in such a happy space about their relationship because they seem like they've been going through so much like mess. So I thought it was cool that he was like super giddy about it, and I thought that she did exactly what Brett was saying about what we've been talking about, kind of the theme of the day of creating these things that can lead you to building these moments and this intimacy. Yeah. When she did the beer the beer tasting thing, I thought
that was from me.
She clearly got that from you because I seen it and I was like, this is amazing. They about to have a night because it's like, and it's the little stuff like that, like y'all. Zar did this wine tasting for my birthday a couple years ago because some people was probably like, what are they talking about?
Yes.
It was my birthday and she wasn't it my birthday?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was my birthday and she did this, like, she invited a bunch of my friends to the house and then we had like this wine tasting at the house. And it was like amazing. It was like somebody brought a wine cellar to the crib. And stuff like that, especially when you dudes are pretty simple, you know what I mean? Like that, you could tell that was Johnny's night. Like he said, this is my vibe, you know what I mean? And I'm like Johnny in that same way where I'm like, this is my vibe. I'm at the crib, my homies is here, we got alcohol. Like, I'm happy. Like, you know what I mean? Right. I can go buy her a bag after that. You know what I mean? Right. And I think that doing little stuff like that, that's where Mila needs to like put some extra sauce in it. You know what I mean? Because stuff like that, and same thing with Gil too. Like same thing, scratching their itch and not doing things that you think would be dope because it serves you.
Because it's dope to you, right? It's got to be dope to that person because Bao is not like, I'm sure that's not her Steve.
Right, that's not her vibe. It's a sports. She created a sports bar in the crib. She don't even watch sports, so that's not her vibe, you know.
But I'm glad they're having deeper conversation. And I thought it was really cool that he even told her, like, ask me how I'm feeling about things. And don't be, because she could be rigid and you can tell. And I think that that's what he feels like he's missing, that spark. Because he's used to people maybe not so much taking themselves so seriously or taking every task so seriously. And I think that, you know, that's where he may worry, but he has real deep-seated I don't want to call it issues because that's not what I think it is, but he has a real idea of what he thinks marriage is. And what his wife is supposed to be. And I don't think and Bao is not fitting into that cookie cutter shape. But who's
like Jose?
Yeah. I can't.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah.
I can't with Jose. But it's like, you know, he was, but even when, can I tell you something else that got me weird about them? Even when he was talking about the oh my God. Let's drink. They playing the darts because she set up the darts thing, and he was like, "Whoever win, you can do whatever you want in the bedroom." Why did that feel like too soon for me to even be talking like that?
I just thought he's setting it up. He's trying to set the vibe for the night, and I was with it. Johnny, stake your claim. Go for it. Set it up. This was going to happen. I'm gonna win these darts. Then I'm gonna take you to the bedroom. We gonna bust it down. I'm with it. Because that's how you start being intentional. That's how you again like do these things to be intentional to create these moments.
I guess, but it felt very predatorial to me.
That's his wife. He's supposed to be a predator. I'm the predator in my house too.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah, I guess. But it was cute. And
Yeah,
I'm just glad that they're moving on up, moving on up. Um,
yeah,
so I guess who we have left is Michaela and Zach.
yeah.
Michaela is, I don't know why Michaela gives me disingenuous when she is around the rest of the group.
I get that too. I get the
And
same thing.
so they had a conversation so they can, like, come full circle from their argument or whatever the case may be. And they said that they will work through things a little bit better and communicate a little bit more. What did you think about their conversation and how they kind of like try to like end whatever issue they were having?
I think that they need some extra expert love as well. I think they're constantly missing each other. I think that I think the one thing that they are is committed, right? Like Zach has clearly wanted to just pack his bags and tell him, like, I'll see y'all at the final shoots because I'm done with this chick, right? So, but he's come back because he's like, I want to see this process through. And she's also been able to come sit down and be self-reflective and say, look, I was wrong. I did this. It was fucked up, blah, blah, blah.
But I don't believe she means it. I don't know what I'm like Zach. I'm like Zach right now. When Zach was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. She has done too many things for me to feel like you really think that this behavior is not okay. And you got to give grace. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you're in a marriage, you got to have a short memory. You know what I mean? So it's like, as much as I want to push him to have that shorter memory and be like, look, baby, you got to move on. Because marriage is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, right.
I also think that these are pink flags.
Oh, no, these are red flags. She has a lot of red flags. Let's just be clear. She has a lot of red flags. And I just think that the one thing that they have going for them is commitment. Like, she has a ton of red flags and she committed. He got some pink flags of his own, but he's also committed. And the one thing that couple told us, I'll never forget, is, hey, how do you want to get to 50 years of marriage, 60, 70 years of marriage? And they said, just don't leave. At the bottom, at the end of the day, like, they haven't left. So that's,
but I just want them to I want her to give her genuine self, because right now she's given very much representative to everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
Every scene I see her in, I think you were being fake as fuck. And I don't know what it is, but I'm really good at reading. I'm a tuning fork. Anybody who know me, I can read people. I know you're gonna have a problem with a person in our space before. Do I not, babe? I be calling it every time. I be like, oh no, something is up with that person. Yeah. I can feel it, y'all. And it's like, I really think I can feel her. It's my mama in the back, y'all. Yeah. I can feel her like disingenuous spirit. Yeah. And it's like, you have such a unique moment to be in this space with people who are going through the same thing as you. Use them as a resource. Yeah. And y'all so busy competing with each other to be the best couple or whatever the fuck, that it's like, we all arguing. Yeah. We all, sometimes you talking to your husband, sometimes you ain't. That's real life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like, you want people to help you problem solve and be real about that. And I think
I think Michaela don't want somebody to really like call her for her filth, because there's a lot of it. And I think that her talking to somebody and actually being real and being transparent,
she won't do it.
She's not, I think, because she's going to then have to confront criticism that she's clearly not getting from her sisters or from those friends that we just saw. That came clear, to the house.
Because they think it's cute.
They think it's fine.
Mm-hmm. But you know what though? That I'm not going to rag her for that, only because that's indicative of a lot of people. One of our good friends, Eric, told me, he was like, people always tell me like they don't know about you when they first meet you because you real like I don't think I'm a straight shooter. I just think I am who I am. So it's like, I'm going to be who I am in every space. And I said, that's because my authenticity just bothers their demons. You could tell a lie about yourself all day long. I don't do that. You know what I mean? So when I say I was a cheater, yes, I did that. I done stole and did all this. I don't have no problem saying those things because that's my truth. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I think that she can't be in a space of being honest about herself because she's so used to lying about who she is. Because if you could be, because you could be honest, I could be honest anywhere in front of anybody. That's just who I am, right? Because I've gotten to the space. Granted, I used to be that way, and maybe that's why I could speak on this, where I could lie about who I was or how I was feeling or whatever the case may be. And when you come out of that, you may meet some people in your life who are just loving and kind, but honest with you about, girl, we all going through it. We all done had somebody be nasty. You know, sometimes my husband is super nice and sometimes I get on his nerves and he act like it. And it's like, if you're around people who give you honest feedback, you get more out of that. You know what I mean? And maybe she's just waiting to feel like she can give that to somebody.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I ain't gonna claim to know the girl, but I don't get that from her. I don't get that she's waiting for a soft place to land.
That's what
I don't get that from her. I get that this is what she does. She keeps this representative on and she's coddled by her surroundings. And there's nobody there to tell her that's toxic and you need to stop doing that.
Toxic with a capital T, toxic. Okay. And it's like, I'm tired of it. But I was glad to see them go on a date and everything like that. And even then I felt like she was putting on airs. But let me tell you something weird.
I haven't felt like I felt a genuine moment from them since
the day they met each other.
Since the day they met each other. I don't, and they're the only couple. They're the only couple of this season. Everybody to me has had moments. Even Brett and Ryan. Everybody has had moments where you're like, oh, they like each other. You know what I mean? Yes. And Michaela and Zach, you asked them, and they were butterflies in the stomach from the beginning. And even then it didn't feel genuine to me.
And that's what I guess I'm getting at. Even how she describes him don't feel real to me. Yeah. But I'm like and people, like I tell you all the time, people would think I don't like my spouse. I just speak honestly. Like if you're going to ask me how I'm doing, I'll be like, I'm getting on his nerves. He get on my goddamn nerves today. That's how we doing. You know what I mean? Like, and people don't expect you to be that honest, I guess, which I get. But I do think that, like, you know, I'm hoping that she can find a space where she can show up and be. But the problem is that her honest self might be even more toxic than we letting on.
Oh, and I think if deep down, if you held a gun to her head, she would acknowledge that. But I think that's the thing that's keeping her representative more present than her person.
I'm gonna tell you how I know she toxic. She went on that goddamn show Unfiltered looking like Rick James. And Rick James is now go ahead when you go back and edit this and throw that picture up there. That woman looked like Rick James, and it don't get no more toxic than that. So if she was channeling the spirit, she picked the wrong Mammy Tat one. So it's like I feel like something is not, and I'm really rooting for them because I think it could work. But here, Libra. And Libras can be people think the things mean balance, like the scales mean balance, when what it really means is indecisiveness. And they're constantly searching for balance. And I think that's what he's really looking. He's looking for somebody to give him something that he can't give him. And he provided this full list. And you know how I feel about people who give lists about the kind of spouse that they want. I feel like it should be less about the list and more about what those things mean to you. Jazz, our sister, said that she did an exercise similar to this, where she put down what she actually wanted in a person. There's something to having a list, but instead of it being like, I want him to be tall, I want him to be dark, I want him to be handsome, what does those things mean to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I want him to have money. What you really mean is that you want security. You know what I mean? Like, I want him to be tall. Why? Because him being tall makes me feel safe. So I want somebody that makes me feel safe. I want somebody that makes me feel secure. So him having this list,
translate it to the bigger picture.
Translate it to the bigger picture, because you're not going to get. I mean, I think I got everything I wanted. And
I think so too. But the thing about it is, though, that you can't go into it with this thing of like these. For a lot of people, these are like hard no's. These are like, they don't have this, they don't have this. This is, you know what I mean? And that's where, if you go into that looking for this person that doesn't exist yet to have all of these things, guess what? You bound to Drizzy, and I got it in. There you go. I got it in. You thought. I know somebody out there thought that I was gonna miss it because they was looking at their lot and they said they're coming up on it. He's not gonna get it, but I got it.
Either way, I'm excited for them, and I'm hoping that they can really figure something out, because I think that they could be beautiful. I really do. I think that if she can find a way to be herself, where that doesn't mean that she, lighting fire to all of New Orleans or flooding an entire state. Yeah. I think that this could be like really good for both of them. And it's good to see, because gives me fight or flight. She's a fighter, but he gives me fight or flight. Wait, let's backpedal, pussy pop, real quick. I did not like that they had that argument, they slept separate places, and then she gonna say, well, you could text me, as if he not allowed to call her. She is manipulative.
She's manipulative, but you said that before.
And I'm trying to get y'all to see, and these are these little flags, these little things that people do, and emotional abusers do, to make sure that they put you in this space where they can manipulate your feelings and make you feel like that's gaslighting, like you're the bad guy. You can't convince me that she hasn't been doing this in spaces around her in her little that where they think that it's fine. Like she's with her sisters, with her friends. The Hercules singers, she's been doing it to the Hercules singers. She's been doing it to all of them. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I find her to be really, and I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but it's only because she's a Black girl. And another thing I was thinking about, it was nice to see Mirla and Rachel together, but that camaraderie that a Black girl needs with another Black girl, she not getting that. That might be another reason why she's not showing up fully too. And
she ain't got that. It's not in her friends too, because we've seen them.
It ain't y'all because that's a fact. That's a fact. Because I don't even believe they will hold you. Either one of them will hold you accountable.
Not at all.
Or anything like that. How dare you? You are married to this human being. I wish you would open your raggedy mouth and tell me that, you can only text me. You cannot call.
And I think that Zach sees a lot of these type of behaviors off camera. I think because it's the representative thing too. Like she would never do that on camera.
You are spot on. And she think that he won't say nothing about it. So it makes him look like, that's why he feel like he going crazy.
Yes.
Because he like, bro, are you for real? Like, you just did this.
Yes. He's what's Micah in from the other season? Like he's like her. She's like, are y'all seeing this? The guy who kept lying about like every job that he had.
Yes, and that's her. And now I'm done giving her ass Mika. Now I'm done giving her ass the benefit of the doubt. Because I wanted to, but that took me back, and it made me feel like these are the things you guys need to look for in emotional abusers. They will literally take the small things that they do something to you, and then turn it around on you, and now you got to beg, piddle, and paw to get back in their good graces. How the fuck that's it? You guarded. You beat up a Clorox bottle, and you're guarded?
Yeah.
Are you for real? Like
she was guarded. When he was just trying to walk the dogs or whatever.
When he was just trying to take the dog to daycare. You lost your stuff. It's just like super irrational and very much it's giving delusions. It's giving delusions, and I'm not here for it. Thank you so much for joining us. Bust down. Let us know what you think. We'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later. Bye.
Peace.